After the biggest leadership shakeup ESO has ever seen, players are now asking the question, who's leading the game going forward? And we know there's been tons of news about the layoffs over the last several weeks. But over the last few days, I've seen more people in the community wanting to know, who's in charge now, who's kind of leading the game as we go into update 51 and onward. And I think after the dust has settled from all of the news coming out, and there was a lot of news every single day about the layoffs, people may have missed some of this information along the way. So let's go ahead and kind of hop into exactly who's going to be running the game. First, let's talk about who was in charge. Joseph Burba, who had been at the company for 14 years and was promoted to studio lead just last year, of course, has been let go. We also know executive producer Susan Kath, who oversaw major chapters and content pipelines, is also gone. Longtime game director Rich Lambert is gone, and the production director Ala Diaz is also gone. So these are four major development people that have been there since the launch of the game. And some of these even worked on other games for Bethesda even before the Elder Scrolls Online was released. They may not have the same title now that they did then, but they have worked on the game since the start. They're not just names, of course, on the website. They are people who guided the game through things like Morrowind, Somerset, Elsewhere, Greymore, Blackwood, High Isles, Gold Road, and pretty much everything in between. And I think when people heard or are now hearing that these individuals are all gone, the community is starting to get a bit nervous about who's in charge, who's going to be kind of taking the reins of the game. And according to internal documents from ZOS, all four will remain at the studio for the next few months to help the transition of the new leadership team. After that, all four of those individuals that I named will be gone. They're not going to stay in a long term advisory role or anything like that. So that brings us back to the question everyone has been asking lately and kind of curious about, who is actually running ESO now. The new leadership team consists of two internal veterans stepping into those major roles. One being Nick Giacomini. He is now the ESO game lead. He's effectively the new game director. Nick has been with ZOS for years and working across multiple systems and different content teams. He's not a outsider being dropped in. He is someone that actually knows ESO structure, and he's also someone that the community has been happy with over the last year. Since Nick's kind of come into the light and been doing a lot of interviews and talking with the community on social media, and also doing some different video segments for the community, a lot of people really like Nick's vision for ESO. So having him there as kind of the leader or the game lead is going to be a good one. Also, we have Josh Henderson. He's taking over business operations. That means he is responsible for the studio's kind of strategic direction, planning, and business side of ESO's future. He's also been with ZOS for a long time, and leadership says they have full confidence in him. The outgoing leadership, of course, left a memo saying that they believe Nick and Josh can guide ESO into the next era. They specifically mentioned Update 51, which is already deep in development, and said the team's passion and creativity will continue to be the heartbeat of the game. Now, I think we all would expect the outgoing leadership to say this. I don't think any of us would believe that they would be bad mouthing them right now. I know some people may have different opinions on this. They may think, well, of course, that is a corporate answer. And most things when it comes to any business nowadays is always a corporate answer. We all know that. But let's break down exactly what this does mean for ESO, because I think Nick being in charge is a good sign as long as Xbox leaves enough of a team there to really get things done with ESO and doesn't really force a lot of the team to Elder Scrolls 6. When you lose your studio head, your executive producer, your game director, your production director all at once, people that have been around for a really long time, that does make the community worry a lot. That does make everyone a bit nervous about what exactly ESO is going to look like going forward. The big question is, will ESO change? And of course, we're not quite sure all of those answers just yet. And my honest answer is yes, but I don't think it's going to be an overnight thing. I still think Xbox sees the benefit of the game, but that's kind of a double-edged sword. You can have a game that's made $15 million a month for the last 10 years plus, But if you do not have enough content going forward, that $15 million is going to dwindle way down per month if players are not playing your game. So Microsoft's kind of walking a tightrope here, cutting jobs from ESO, but also leaving enough people there and giving them enough leeway to make good content going forward and to make sure that that content is out in a rapid enough pace to where players aren't logging in to play something for, a month or two and then logging out for several months before anything new is released. We don't want that slow drip fed kind of content because we've seen a lot of other games do that. Some do it better than others, but also some have really suffered because of it. And the important part is ESO really isn't shrinking. It's not being sunset, it's not being put into maintenance mode. The studio still has a large quantity of employees, even though that the team is a lot smaller than it was a few weeks ago. They're still active and they're still building content. We do know the news has said lately that they will be working with Bethesda on Elder Scrolls projects. I've said this before already. I'm not sure if that really means they're all going to be working together on everything Elder Scrolls, or if this is just their way of saying, hey, we're going to borrow these guys to work on the Elder Scrolls 6, and then after that, they can go back to doing something else. We'll have to wait and see. I think that also makes some people in the community a bit nervous because they feel like the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to take priority and ESO is going to be just kind of left with a small group and not really get enough content to keep everyone interested. And until we can see that, unfortunately, none of us can see into the future, we won't know what really is going to happen there. The biggest leadership turnover ESO has ever seen was not a great sign in a lot of people's minds. It's understandable that players want clarity. And the truth is simple. ESO is now led by Nick Giacomini and Josh Henderson. They're the ones steering the ship, making the calls, and shaping the future of the game. And by what we've seen from Nick so far, I think that is definitely left in good hands. Whether this becomes a fresh era for ESO or a challenging transition depends entirely on how Nick and Josh can guide the game and how much leeway Xbox is willing to give them. And with Update 51 already deep in development, we're going to see their influences sooner than people think. ESO isn't done, it is evolving once again. And the next few updates will really show us exactly what that evolution of the game looks like. If you like the video, hit the like. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.